Okay, so another really good question that we get is, does my down payment that I put down on a rent-to-own home, does that actually go towards the purchase price whenever I buy a house? And the answer could be two different things, actually. It could, if you wanted to, if you negotiate it that way with the seller, it could, or it could be a non-refundable deposit. Okay, so it's just whatever the seller's wanting and what the terms that you agree with to the seller. But most of the time, yes, it does. Most of the time, so just using very, very easy figures here. Say you're buying a house for $100,000 and you put $3,000 down. That's 3%. Whenever you go to buy that house, you're not going to owe $100,000. You know, whenever you get to the closing table, I guess you'd say, and you get your loan on it, you're not going. The purchase price is probably still going to be $1,000, but it's going to go ahead and say that you are being credited $3,000. So technically, you'd be getting a loan on $97,000 now. So that's scenario number one. Is that if it does go back to you, that's what's going to end up happening. Is that whenever you do go ahead and buy that house, then it is going to come back to you at the closing table. Whenever you do get a loan on it, it's going to come back to you that way. The other way that it could happen is basically if it's a non-refundable deposit, that you're not going to get it back. Maybe it's hard money. So basically that if in that scenario, if that's the way that you agree and the seller agrees, then basically if that same scenario, a $100,000 house, you put $3,000 down or 3%, then basically whenever you go to closing to buy that house, you're going to have to get a loan on $100,000. So I don't suggest doing it that way because it just isn't really the best way of doing it, but it's totally up to you and the seller. Whatever you both feel comfortable with and what you both come to terms with, and to whatever to make a deal. So it just depends on your situation, depends on the seller's situation. But I always encourage everybody to go ahead and actually get that money that you put down on the home. Maybe you put down $500, whatever it comes to be, that you actually get that money back whenever you go ahead and purchase that house. So really, really good information on it, but it can be done two different ways. So talk to your rent-to-own specialist about this and to get you into negotiations with the seller and come to terms with it. But those are the two scenarios. We'll talk to you soon.